Well, all right. It looks like we got an update in this Drake versus UMG ongoing lawsuit. Now, if y'all was rocking with me yesterday, we talked about the lawsuit and how UMG hit back on them. That's on the channel right now. And the day before that, we talked about how Drake actually got a phone call from Kendrick and was scared of the squabble. Now, if y'all rocking with that, make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. It's your boy What's Up G back with another banger. Now let's get into this. It's my man Fantastic Hip Hop. We react to this channel. We also do commentary on this channel. But let's get into this. I'm gonna talk to y'all at the end. You know, in the reactions, I don't do too much talking. Let's get it, y'all.
Comes to Drake. Lawbreeze and Genograms, well, once again, the biggest crash out in hip hop's entire career is going out in spirals because right now, after his little games and updates that made his ongoing lawsuit against Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us record more confusing and pathetic, UMG has come back and responded to Drake once again, and this time, with how open they get about exposing Drake and just pointing out the truth that nobody on that side of hip hop wants to hear. Things have really never looked worse in terms of this case going forward and Drake getting his way with things. And now before we go any further into what all this means, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as all the Drake fans are trying to run away from the reality of what we are seeing here, which is the real beginning of the end for their guy, make sure to leave a like so all of hip hop can see how bad this really is for Drake and how.
And that's a banger right there. Make sure y'all leave a like on this channel, subscribe, leave a like on and subscribe on my man Fantastic Hip Hop channel. Let's get back into it, y'all.
Great this will be for the genre. And so now with that said, when it comes to good old pathetic Lawbreeze, as UMG just filed another motion to dismiss this ridiculous mess that Drake has created, they didn't hold back this time whatsoever, and really with the paperwork they have handed to Drake, it's not just effective, but it's also hilarious, because in this thing, Drake gets mocked and embarrassed here, really like it's another diss track, because more than we have ever seen to this point in this entire suit so far, UMG just calls Drake's bluff and reminds him and everybody else of what's really going on here, which is just an emotional crash out and temper tantrum from a fully grown person who is just upset that something didn't go their way. And UMG really wastes no time getting to this, as they literally say, opening things up, how Drake is just making up anything to whine about, and they know this, because rather than stand on his original complaints that started this thing in the first place, they straight up say, on March 17th, 2025, UMG moved to dismiss Drake's complaint. Rather than attempt to defend his original complaint, Drake filed an amended complaint in which he removed obviously false factual allegations, but added multiple allegations about Lamar's live performance of a version of the song Not Like Us at the Super Bowl 59 halftime show on February 9th, 2025. And now with everything they detailed, just to remind Drake and show everyone how flimsy what he is trying to stand on taller and taller really is, there is no way that this all doesn't come down very soon, because really, with the team representing the label that made Drake having to literally talk about everything Drake has tried to add in with this suit, with such moments like the Grammys and especially the Super Bowl, they really just troll and humiliate him, because after calling Drake's claims astonishing, which I feel like in this type of thing is about as far as you can go to just try and make fun of somebody while obviously staying within the tone that these things need to be in. After this sentence, which really just feels like a professional way to laugh at Drake, he just ends up getting cooked here more than ever, as they point out how his own points and claims are contradicting one another and how this shows that he.
And we talked about that in yesterday's upload. They like UMG's lawyers are very aggressive and very funny. They're very hilarious, bro.
Not organized or has a greater message, but that he's just trying to use anything he possibly can to take down Kendrick Lamar in this song, which they state pretty clearly as they say. As Drake concedes, Lamar's Super Bowl performance did not include the lyric that Drake or his associates are certified, which of course is the alleged defamatory material that is at the heart of this case. And then they go on to say that the focus of Drake's new claims, which are that the largest audience for a Super Bowl halftime show ever did not hear Lamar call Drake or his crew that word, ultimately ends up betraying the case for what it is, which is Drake's attack on the commercial and creative success of the rap artist who defeated him rather than the content of Lamar's lyrics. And as they close this out saying the amended complaint is without merit and should be dismissed, once again, it seems like with everything UMG did here, they just once and for all went all in on Drake for not just being petty here, because that is what this is all about in terms of why he has even went this far and why we need to have this conversation in the first place, but they show how many problems and flaws are within the exact case that he is trying to present. And finally, with this, we are seeing Drake just get made fun of within actual paperwork by his label for using and citing people within this case who know absolutely nothing about anything going on, as Drake was relying on none other than fan pages to try and win the biggest move an artist has ever made to their label in this era. And again, just hearing Drake get made fun of and trolled in this professional way is really one of the funniest things, and I think we are going to look back on this as something that didn't even feel real in terms of how Drake just created this mess in the first place. Because seriously, as UMG literally has to say, the comments cited in Drake's complaint make this point. They are rife with grammatical errors, slang, and emojis, and authored by sources such. Once again, even with the small things here, when you read this thing from front to back and go through all of it, the more you just slowly see what really easily has to be the absolute.
Yeah, and the thing is that hip hop and rap in general is covered by the First Amendment, the right for free speech and the right to express yourself as an artist. If you take that away from hip hop, then we wouldn't be able to speak freely as artists, because let me tell you what it is. It's actually like Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is the artist, and Kendrick Lamar sees things. Don't look at him as like Kendrick Lamar the human. See him as an artist who paints. You get what I'm saying? That painter can paint about the good stuff in life or the bad stuff in life. Is any of that stuff true? Not necessarily, because he's an artist. If you take that away and say everything he says is serious, let me tell you what happens. Then everybody can file lawsuits like Drake, because it's not an art anymore. He's writing stuff down and it's serious. And then you'll see a bunch of indictments, more indictments than we've ever seen, because everything that an artist will then say will be taken serious. No, this is all just in the spirit of art. It's in the spirit of art. And this guy is taking everything as if it's the end of the world that he was called a PDF file. And he's taking it as if that brings him down, but he actually started this beef. Now, also, I don't know if Fantastic Hip Hop is going to talk about it. We talked about it yesterday in my upload, where it was actually said by UMG, he did the same thing to other artists. They didn't say which artist it was, but I'll say which artist it was. He did the same thing to Meek Mill. He did the same thing to Meek Mill, and it benefited him. Right now, he's going through the part of the story where Meek Mill lost the battle, then Drake went on tour and was putting all those memes on the screen. Did we forget? We didn't forget, right? We couldn't have forgot. That's the part of the story Drake is going through. And this is why I say a lot of this stuff seems karmatic. It seems like he's just getting his karma right back at him. But let's keep going a little bit further, y'all.
And official beginning of the end for Drake and this entire thing he has been trying to say and escalate for so long. Because really, even now with the whole idea of Drake being a hypocrite and only bringing paperwork into this situation because he was the one who messed around and lost the beef and had one of the biggest diss songs ever made about him, well, once again, they remind Drake that he didn't have a problem saying everything that he did on Family Matters, which really, between the claims he made about Kendrick's own family, I mean, you could say what was said there was at least just as bad, but if not worse than what Kendrick did at all. Well, taking things even further and once again putting all of this into perspective of just how much of a hypocrite and bold-faced liar Drake really is, UMG made sure to also include things that clearly point out to people who may not have known that less than 3 years ago, Drake himself signed a public petition criticizing the trend of prosecutors using artists' creative expression against them by treating rap lyrics as literal fact. And as they literally say, as Drake recognized, when it comes to rap, the final work is a product of the artist's vision and imagination. They really got Drake bad here, and they really make sure to bring this home, as they say Drake was right then and is wrong now. The complainant's claims against UMG are no more than Drake's attempt to save face for his unsuccessful rap battle with Lamar. And
hey, making control.
And that's fire right there. That's fire right there. We ain't on my main channel, so we ain't on the premium. Oh, man. But... But no, that's fire right there. So they're basically saying right there that Drake signed a petition. He signed a petition 3 years ago saying that he was for artists, free speech and free way of speaking as artists, and that it shouldn't be taken serious or used against him. But now, since it benefits him, he's now turning around and using the opposite of what he signed and saying, no, this isn't free speech. This hurts my career and it hurts my feelings. Yeah, it hurts his feelings. So with that, I'm going to leave y'all with that. Drop it down in the comments. What do y'all think about this? Drake, at this point, just go away. Just make R&B music at this point. We don't want to hear nothing hip hop about you. We don't want to hear nothing tough about you. When Meek lost his battle, this is one thing about Meek that I gotta give him some points for. Cause you've been acting like such a crybaby about the situation. I actually gotta give Meek his points for taking his L, picking himself back up, and keeping it pushing. He got a song out right now with Friday. Go support Meek Mill. Drake, you're showing why you're not a part of the culture. And let me say this right here. All this dude for real has done is take from the culture. He hasn't given anything back. And I really got to this conclusion. Let me get a little bit bigger on the screen real quick. My bad, y'all, for the commercial popping up. Y'all know we don't even play that on this channel. I think I'm not on my main channel, so we're not even on the premium joint. So, but I came to this conclusion when I seen Drake doing his live streams with XQC and Aiden. And I said, yo, who does Aiden align himself with? Aiden made some wild comments last week. So you're aligning people that make wild comments. Aiden aligns himself with people like Charleston White. XQC, he aligns himself with a whole different side of entertainment and culture. And I said, wow, how do you end up, how does that bird end up flocking together with all people that's not really of the culture and of hip hop? How is that even possible? Then I started really looking at it. I said, hold up. When has he ever really aligned himself with hip hop? He did when he first came out. He aligned himself with Houston, but he actually just stole Houston's sound. He aligned himself with Lil Wayne, but he actually snaked Lil Wayne when Lil Wayne put him on. But as soon as Lil Wayne went to jail, he hit Lil Wayne's chick, and Lil Wayne came home saying Drake broke his heart. Okay. Then you keep going. You're like, well, he put artists on. No, every artist that he ever put on, he stole from them. They were locked in his basement. He's only putting on Party Next Door because he needs Party Next Door right now. He was going to leave The Weeknd locked in his basement. The Weeknd is a better artist, and he's a better writer, and everything that you would put against Drake, he's just better than him at this point because Drake is known as a biter and not a writer. So he hasn't given anything back to the artists. You say, oh, no, he be putting on the young boys. No, he do not be putting on the young boys. I thought about that too. He learned that from Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne blew up. Everybody loved when Lil Wayne would hop on tracks and stuff like that. Let me tell you what's actually going on with Lil Wayne when he would do that. Lil Wayne was stealing artists' budgets. It was dope because it was like, yo, you burnt. So what you gonna do about it? So what Lil Wayne was doing is Lil Wayne would have the budget for his album. Then he would have your hit song in your budget. He was like, I'm going to kill your song better than you, and you still have a budget to push this song, but I'm doing it better than you, so you're actually pushing me. Drake did the same thing to the young boys. He would go to the young boys with a big budget, like, oh, you about to make a hit song? All right, send me over the pack. You send him over the pack, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't charging them up for the verse, but then when you put the verse out, it's going to be a #1 song for Drake on your budget. It's going to be a #1 song for Drake on your budget. It's the same thing Lil Wayne taught him. Even though he did Lil Wayne dirty and you don't see Lil Wayne in none of his pictures no more. He wasn't putting the young boys on. He never put nobody on from OVO. Ain't nobody. Look at what was his name? It's going up on a Tuesday. He did him dirty. He took his song, beat him up, and kicked him out the group. Right now, he's writing songs for NBA YoungBoy right now. That's really what he's doing. The Weeknd. The Weeknd got Nav holding him down. And that's really backing Drake up right now. He got away from him. Party Next Door looks depressed every time I see him. Party Next Door, he ain't put Party Next Door on. He's using Party Next Door to stay afloat right now. What has he ever given back to the culture? Nothing. He's only taken from, like, I want y'all to like drop it in the comments. What has he ever given back to the culture? Like, I sat and thought about it and I was like, yo, I don't think he's ever given anything back to the culture. I don't see him on what? He got ran out of New York radio. He don't mess with none of the culture of black radio. I don't see him on, I never seen him on Drink Champs or nothing. $1 million worth of game, nothing. I don't see him nowhere. I don't see him. Look, I don't even see him giving academics an interview. What has he ever given to the culture? And then I just got thoughts in my head of him wearing blackface and stuff like that, and him being a kid. Then this is facts. This is things that he's done. He's worn blackface. You get what I'm saying? He's done things in Toronto as a kid at like he was just a little Jewish kid in Canada. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't come to the States and hang with Lil Wayne and still Houston sound and then act like you a big dog. No, you came up on the backs of everybody. You have a certain background to your lineage, and you did to the culture and black people what it said tends to be done. I can't. Like, if y'all can drop it in the comments what he's ever given back to hip hop. Honestly, I'll wait. All he's done is taken from us. All right, and that's like I've been sitting here trying to figure it out, trying to look at it like, yo, this dude is really just a culture vulture, just all the way through. And then like even when he was going back and forth with Kendrick, that bar you rapping like you trying to free the slaves. That will never sit right with me. There is no coming back from that. There is no nothing. You told me how you really feel, bro. You told me what you actually think of us. You rapping like you trying to free the slaves. When was it ever cool to say something that stupid? I mean, I would want him rapping like he trying. What? Boy, you canceled. All right, so it's your boy, What's Up, G? If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. Don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this. I went on a little tangent on this one, but it is what it is. All right.